Number 8 in your scorecard, number 1 in your heart, Albert Sugar Bear Barberry. Well, the purpose of this video is, it was brought to my attention that the Salvie Testa story I told back in 2019 that went over big. It was a classic. I no longer can find it on my Facebook page. I don't know how, why. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to retell it. But before I do, I want you to hear something. And then I'll tell you the particulars and everything.
You mean, so let me understand this, because I don't think, maybe it's me, I'm a little fucked up, maybe. But I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you? I make you laugh? I'm here to fucking amuse you? What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny? I'm not just... You know how you tell a story?
All right, so everybody knows about that scene in Goodfellas with Joe Pesci and Ray Liotta. That movie was done in 1990. This particular story I'm going to tell you happened in 1982 in South Philly. Now, before I get into the story, I don't want to be misunderstood here, okay? Salvie Testa and I were friendly, casual friends. I did not grow up with him. We were friendly. We went to the same high school. He was 2 years older than me. We grew up in the same parish, St. Monica Parish in South Philly. His father and my father knew each other and were friendly. So we went to the same high school, Bishop Newman High School. So Salvi and I were friendly, kosher with each other. And I want to make something clear too. When I did this story in 2019, Chicky Ciangalini just got out of jail maybe 4 or 5 years. And he's part of this story. And I asked him if it was okay and if he remembered what happened in 1982. And he was sharp as a tack, and he said, "Sugar, you feel free to tell the story. I remember it like yesterday." So I'm going to tell the story. So, and I'm going to make another thing clear. For people who are watching this and they don't know who Salvie Testa is, all you got to do, he's the son of Philip Testa. All you got to do is Google and you'll see the life and story of Salvie Testa. Again, Salvi was a cool guy. I knew him to be a very respectful to us. When I say us, me, the people that were not in his world, we all know Salvi. His father was a gangster. Salvi grew up to take part in the mafia or the mob, and he was a gangster. It's no secret. It's ancient history. Anyway, these guys like Salvi, and I was friendly with a lot of guys. For everybody who's familiar with South Philly, I was friendly with a lot of those guys. I was friendly with them. I had no problem with them. My father knew their fathers. So I got along with everyone, okay? And they got along with me, all right? Also, do know that a guy like Salvi, whatever you heard of him or read about him, there's a human side to Salvi, okay? And I've heard, you've all heard about how he was a nice guy, cool dude on one hand, and the other hand, that's what history has wrote about him. So this story takes place in 1982 in a corner on Hutchison Street and Catherine. Like every South Philly and every city that has a hangout, neighborhood hangout, a store. This was a grocery store, and in the back was a room where poker was played, gin was played, hangout, where guys hung out. And this particular night, we're playing 5-card stud poker game. To my left, Salvie Testa. In the game was Ralphie Hedda-Bruzzi, Mikey Animal, Iconella, I hope I pronounce his name right, Mikey Animal, one of Salvi's dear friends, Mikey Mannion, Anthony Weiner was in the game, They're the ones I remember. And I happened to be in the hand with Salvi. And I happened to make a straight, a wheel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. H2, 3, 4, 5. And I believe I hit a good shot. And he raised me, I raised him back. He raised, I re-raised him. And I win the hand. And the table got a little, there was, for me to make the hand, that's a big hand in 5-card stud. And start clowning around, and Ralphie Head, I remember distinctly, he would have a saying all the time, sometimes you get the bear, and sometimes the bear will get you. And I repeated it, and I'm laughing, and I'm silly, and as I get in the money, pulling it, I got it in my hand, I feel it snatched right out of my hand. And it was Salvi snatched the money right out of my hand. And I look, and I was puzzled and surprised. And he's looking at me, and he's like, "What's so funny, sugar? Huh?" And now I'm waiting for his demeanor to break to see if he's serious or clowning around. And he's like, "What's so funny, sugar? Huh? Ain't so funny anymore. Sometimes you get the bear, and sometimes the bear get you." He's got all my money. It was like $900. 1982, $900 is a lot of money. My rent was $225. And all of a sudden now, you can hear a pin drop in the room. And he's like, he says to me, "What are you going to do? You going to ante up? Can't play if you don't ante up." And he's got my money. And now I'm saying to myself, what the fuck did I get myself into here? How am I going to get out of this? And I'm looking at him, still waiting to see, because I don't know what to do. And he's like, "Are you going to ante up? What are you going to do? You got to ante up." He said, "Deal the cards, let's go." I got no money enough. I got to walk out of the hangout, do the walk of shame, and leave. I walk out, I'm puzzled, I'm shocked. I lived right around the corner on 9th and Fitzwater, a block away. And it felt like it took me a half hour to get there. I was dazed and confused. Anyway, the next day, I get a phone call by Gigi. Gigi is Salvatore Storione. At the time, he was going out with Chicky Ciangalini's daughter, Maria. He calls me up. It wasn't rare that he called me. We were friendly, me and Gigi. "Sugar, what's going on?" "Nah, nothing, Gig. Listen, I talked to Chicky. He wants to see you." And I'm like, "Come on, Gig, are you serious?" "Yeah, he wants to talk to you." I said, "Gig, does this happen to do with the poker game last night?" He went, "Yeah, sugar." "Oh, you gotta be kidding me." "All right, I'll be over." Chicky lived right a couple doors from the hangout on Hutchinson and Catherine Street. I walk over there. I have no idea. I have no idea what's going to go on, what he's going to tell me. I get there to the house. I go in there. He sits me down. "Sugar, tell me what happened in this poker game. Salvi's a little upset." I said, "Check. I was in a hand with him. Raise, re-raise, what have you. I win the pot. I hit a straight. And now it got lighthearted. The table start razzing a little bit, or what Salvi thought was razzing him. I was laughing, and Salvi snatched my money, and I guess he thought I was making a fucking fool out of him, which I was. It was just, so Chicky's like, "Sugar, listen to me. You know better. You play poker, you win a pot, you take the money, you shut the fuck up." I said, "Chick, I know, but it was just fooling around." He says, "Well, listen, he's not happy. So listen to me. Stay out of the hangout. Let me talk to him, and I'll figure out what's going to, if you're going to be able to go there anymore, or whatever." So I'm like, when he says that, I leave the house, walking back to my apartment, like, don't go to the hangout. Let me find out what's going to transpire. I mean, oh my God. So anyway, about an hour later, it's early evening, a knock on the door. Sugar, it's Gigi, open up." Oh boy. "Yeah, Gig, come on in. Go in." I say, "Gig, I can't believe this. Salvi's not like this. I don't know him to be this way." I say. Gigi says, "Well, you got on his wrong side, sugar." So I'm in the kitchen. I got my back turned to Giggy. As I turn around, Giggy's got a smirk on his face, and he's got a wad of money, my money, in a rubber band. And he says, "Here, Chicky said to give this to you. Salvi brought it around in the morning. It's only breaking your balls." I said, "Oh my God." At that moment, I felt like a fucking piano was lifted off my back. Whew, right? Plus, I got my money back too. $900, like I said, is a lot of money in 1982. So Giggy says, "Get dressed." It was starting to snow. It was going to be a snowstorm. He says, Chicky says, "Come on over and have some hot chocolate, popcorn, and we playing some games." So I go over the house. Yeah, I get to the door. I walk in. Chicky looks at me. "We got you, Blizz, didn't we?" They call me Blizz because my father was Blizz. "We got you." "Huh?" I said, "You did, Chick, really." He goes, "Come on in. Get a cup of hot chocolate." So that was the story. It was radical. And the moral of the story is, here's Salvi, unbeknownst to him, 8 years prior to Goodfella, pulls that off. The same thing that Joe Pesci in that scene with Ray Liotta had Ray on edge, didn't know if he was serious. And we all know now that that scene that Pesci did was inherited from his days hanging out in the corner. He watched something like that go down, and he talked to Scorsese into doing that, ad-libbing that, and that they pulled that off. But Salvie Testa, it's a story I'll never forget, and that's just the way it is. That's what goes on in South Philly. Anyway, arrivederci.